We know a lot of 20-year-olds or maybe even a little bit older who want to make movies, but they haven't. Is it ever a struggle for you? Do you ever feel like you have so many ideas, but for some reason you feel like your hands are tied, or you don't feel like that?
I think that in recent years I don't feel like my hands are tied as much because now I can point to work that I've done. And I think that's true if you're 20, 40, or 80. It doesn't really matter how old you are if you've decided you want to start making films. But what does matter is that you can point to your body of work. Whether it's good or not is a whole nother topic, and I'll leave that for other people to debate. But if there are things that I've done that people have enjoyed, then I am more likely to have the leverage and capacity to make other things that hopefully other people will also enjoy. And so for me, in my earlier years, it was a little bit harder because I had to fight for credibility, and that's because of age. And I'm not saying that is necessarily unfounded, but perhaps sometimes unfair, because when you're 20 years old and you want to run off and go make a film, why does a 40 or 50-year-old financier need to trust you over the 35 or 40-year-old that has years of experience, that's the adult in the room, that can command more presence? And so for me, starting so young as a filmmaker really allowed me to hone my communication skills, also honed my ability to talk to people in different ways so that they would understand and hopefully appreciate that I would be credible and that they could trust me with their money and their respect, that I wouldn't do something that would dissuade them from following through, because I would follow through with my own work. And so I think the answer is really it's how you present yourself and how well you know what you're talking about. Don't oversell or overpromise things you can underdeliver. Never do that.
Is there a point though where you can undersell yourself?
Oh, absolutely. But I would argue that it's maybe better to undersell yourself at the initial onset, because if you can do things that people don't know you can do or don't think you can do, you surprise them. And when you can surprise them, then you have the capacity to make people excited about what you're doing. And so I think sometimes underselling is perhaps more valuable than telling them everything or overselling.
Is that due to expectation? Let's suppose you tell them, oh yeah, and you embellish what you can do, and then you somehow fall short. But if you undersell yourself, and then that's like this sort of unplanned surprise to them.
Absolutely. And I think that in general, people like unplanned surprises. They like to see things as a surprise. I mean, it's even using the example of going to a theater and seeing a film and the question mark instead of the period. If you're always asking yourself, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? If we're not telling you what to think in a film, I think it's the same thing for production and the same thing for development. If you're constantly showing the people you work with that you have something unexpected within you, then they can get excited about your vision and what you want to do, because they know that this person has something within them that will constantly surprise. And I think that if you can find that, then you can find success.